it makes you look bad in a sense, because it's like, well, it was assigned to you, why didn't you do it? Why you're hindering the growth of other people, which is then why people leave. If you're struggling to go through this busy season and you're really like, oh my gosh, do I ever want to be here for this busy season? So in corporate America, you are replaceable. Hey guys, welcome back to another vlog. So in this vlog, I'm getting ready because I do have an interview. A fellow accountant and content creator, she reached out to me to do an interview with me today, so I'm getting ready for that. I washed my hair today. If you've been following me for a while, you know my hair is like a bunch of different textures, but I did wash my hair today, and this is how it's looking. And to wash my hair, I used Cream of Nature Argan Oil. So this is what I used to wash my hair, and y'all can see it went back to being curly. So as I do my makeup, I'll just kind of quickly chat with you guys. If you guys remember, I told you guys that I'm gonna try to do like some monthly catch-ups and just kind of talk like real stuff with you guys, like what's going on, how I'm feeling, or any real life topics. So that's what I'm gonna do today. All right, so I thought this topic that I'm gonna talk about is a perfect one, just because of, you guys know, like, I guess the majority of my subscribers and my content all has to do with accounting. And so I wanted to talk about like, what am I saying? I wanted to talk about when is it time for you to leave your job or like leave public accounting, right? So you guys know I left public accounting. I'm not going back, and that's just a personal choice of mine. I think for me, like I've mentioned, I've done it, and I was so happy to have started my career in public accounting. I wouldn't have done it any other way. I used the Farsali Quench Moisture Replenishing Serum. I had my time, I did my time there, and like I said, I wouldn't have started any other way. But I think for me, it came down to other opportunities that I could explore and my happiness. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, because I have had people reach out to me as of late, just asking for career advice, saying that they're over public accounting, like, and I'm not just saying people who do audit. This is people who are also in tax, people who are also in advisory, who are just like, I'm ready to leave my firm altogether. I'm not happy. And so cheer up, Pharmacy by Pharmacy. It's vitamin C for your eyes. But yeah, so people have been asking me like, oh, like, what, can you give me some advice? When should I leave? Like, I'm ready to go. I don't think I can do another busy season. And other people are different, and I'm just gonna give you guys my opinion from what I've seen and what I've experienced. Public accounting firms are amazing. They're amazing to start your career, but it gets to a point in your career and in your life where you kind of know if this is for me or if this is not for me. There's other people who have gone into public accounting and are set up for success, and they have a good career mentor, career advisor. They work with great teams. They're partners, for anywhere from partner, manager, senior. They're all amazing. Or they have like smaller engagements that they've been able to build those community with. So those kind of people, they are set up for success and end up doing better in public. And they are more so the kind of people to say like, yeah, I'm staying, I'm not going anywhere. And then you have other people that come in who literally, it's like by God's grace or luck that, however it is you want to look at it. I like to look at it as the grace of God. Some people say it's luck if you don't believe in God. But that you're like, oh man, like, am I even supposed to be here? And then you have like hardcore imposter syndrome the whole time because you are doubting yourself. You're not really set up for success. They don't align you with the right people. And to a certain extent, it's not like HR's fault. They can only go based off of what you fill out, like in your surveys, as well as the availability of the people. And then you're like, your career advisor doesn't really vibe with you. Like, you're working on teams that are very cliquey because you have people on the team that have been there since they were interns. You have people that are on the team who are probably like now seniors or managers who have been on that engagement for a while and they know their stuff, and you're pretty much like new and you're just thrown into it. You have those situations. And then you have the people who can also like navigate around that situation and just make the best of it, be willing to learn and conform. But everybody, like I said, everybody's different. There's people that go in and because of how they're set up for success, they know like, okay, I'm definitely going to be here until manager. I'm definitely going to be here until partner, or like I want to be here until partner, or at least get a couple of senior, get a couple years of senior. But I'm going to tell you this, no matter where you are in your career, and this even applies for not public accounting, if you feel like it's not for you, don't force it. A few things that you can try to do, which is what I had done, because my second time around in public was terrible. I'm just not going to sugarcoat it. It was horrible. My career advisor and I did not match at all. But it just got to a point where it was just so toxic for me that I didn't even want to wake up in the morning to go to work. Like, I will cry before going to work. I'm just not getting along with seniors. Like, and then some of you guys might be facing this where you're in a situation with a team where like your senior, whoever is supposed to be supervising you, doesn't really help you. When you go ask for questions, they never show the time for you, or when they do, they kind of brush it off quickly as to like, you're supposed to know this by now. But in reality, it's like, if I'm asking you the question, that's because I'm still confused by it, right? So I feel like there are a lot of people in public accounting, say starting, yeah, more so like seniors and above, who don't really have good teaching styles, who are not meant to be teachers, who are literally just there because either like the company, like a lot of people turned over and they were all that was left, or they didn't have good people teaching them. All that kind of trickles down to then you, who was either a new staff or even a second year staff still trying to figure it out. And then you're in a position, sometimes a second year staff who's like, I have no clue, I'm just barely starting to learn what I'm doing, and then they put you on an engagement to lead or co-lead or to senior, like interns or like first year staff, and then you're still not getting like the proper help, the proper guidance that you need, and that then slows work productivity down, and then like you just feel bad, right? And then the other instance comes with people that are on your team that you're working with. Let's say you're working with a senior, and this has happened to me, and it's a new engagement, a new client, you're still trying to learn, and then they're like, when you ask them, oh, like, I see this is how it was done last year, can you walk me through as to what was the thought process? And a lot of the times the answers that you're gonna get, and these are answers that I got, were, oh, well, don't worry, I'm gonna do it. I was on it last year, it'll just be quicker for me to do it. I already have the relationship with the client, it'll just be quicker for me to ask. And then they start piling more things on their work plate, and then you are like, well, I'm trying to learn. Like, what do you mean you're gonna do it? I'm trying to learn. The whole goal of me being here or me being assigned this is so that I can learn how to do it and then eventually train somebody else how to do it. Then you're getting like review comments back from managers or from the partner asking you questions, and you're like, well, I don't know because I didn't end up doing it. So and so did it for me. And then it makes you look bad in a sense, because it's like, well, it was assigned to you. Why didn't you do it? Why did they have to do it? Why did they have to take it from your plate? Why weren't you asking the questions when needed? And it's like, I was asking the questions, but the person, instead of guiding me, just decided to do it themselves. So as I was saying, and oh, let me show you guys the products that I just used. Face Born This Way concealer, super coverage. I love this. This is my favorite concealer now. And then I use my MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation. You're having to just then do the extra work, because the manager then thinks like, oh, you're not capable of doing it, you're not asking questions on time. But it's really like that senior wasn't really trying to help me, like they were. And I think sometimes seniors don't understand that by doing that, yeah, you're taking up more work from yourself. You're taking up more work for yourself, so you're adding more things to your plate. But then you're hindering the growth of other people, which is then why people leave. Because people feel like you feel like you're not good enough, like what the heck am I doing here? You feel like nobody is really like in your corner to back you up. And then when you have these conversations with like your career advisor or whoever, like they don't really get it too. So all of that to say, if you are in a place like that, if you've had a similar struggle, if you're struggling to go through this busy season and you're really like, oh my gosh, do I ever want to be here for this busy season? Especially with working from home, it's 10 times harder than even being on a team, because you're like, I don't want to keep messaging that person, but then again, like you need your stuff done too, right? I would say if you are like in that state of mind, if you're getting anxiety to work, things like that, then it's time for you to go. And from a financial perspective, like you, of course, I hope, I pray that you have a savings, but if not, try to come up with a game plan and maybe be like, well, I'm gonna work throughout this busy season and I'm gonna save this amount of money per what I'm making currently. Because at the end of the day, what you don't want to happen to you, which ends up happening to a lot of people who fall into the mindset of like, oh my gosh, I can't leave, I just have to keep trying, blah, blah. You get put on a performance improvement plan, and then at any time you can get fired. Like, they can be like, oh, well, this person isn't turning it around in the time frame that we need the person to do it, so they gotta go, and then they just hire somebody else. So in corporate America, you are replaceable, just know that. They don't give a crap what's going on with you, like they don't care. You really have to be mindful of that. Be mindful of how you are doing mentally. If you're struggling mentally, reach out to someone. Preferably reach out to somebody in HR. Your HR does, your firm, your HR does have, they have resources for you to talk to somebody. They have resources for you to get the help that you need. But please, if you're feeling overwhelmed or if your mental health is struggling because you're working in public accounting, which it's happened to me and I know it's happened to a lot of other people, please reach out for help. Don't let it get the best of you, because then it'll affect your work quality, it'll affect how you work, and essentially it'll trickle down to affect how people that you're working with, people at your firm, perceive you. And I've gotten this, like people perceive me as lazy, as all of this, and that's because I was going through a lot and I didn't want to communicate that. So busy season for me started off rocky anyway, because I was pretty much managing and senioring an engagement that I had no clue what I was doing. It was a new acquisition, and we were not the main auditors. We were doing like the component audit. So it was pretty much just me trying to figure it all out until the senior came in, and until they got a full staff together, which took a while. It was my first time even like leading an engagement on my own, and it reflected poorly on me in the sense that I wasn't getting the help that I needed. Anytime I reached out, it was like crickets, right? I ended up having a miscarriage during busy season of last year that I haven't really talked to many people about, but I think I have to share it so that it can give you guys context as to what I'm talking about. So during my back and forth to Arizona and stuff for my client that I was on, I miscarried and I had no clue. I had just found out that I was pregnant. I found out I was pregnant, so of course, like, at that time I hadn't even like told my husband or anything, because I was just waiting it out because I have history of miscarrying, and I was flying back and forth but just trying to maintain calm. And then it got to a point where like I was getting like these really bad migraines. The light, like anything that had to do with light, bright light, it was just making my migraines worse. Like my head was pounding all the time. I always wanted to throw up. Like it was just horrible, and I didn't really understand like what my body was doing. And then that's when I found out I'm pregnant. And then I was like, okay, I guess like it's just because I'm pregnant. So like went to the doctor, everything, and then like literally into working with my client into that busy season period, I end up miscarrying. So like my body's feeling horrible, I'm getting sick, I'm trying to hold it together, and it got to a point where I couldn't stay at the client site any longer. And there were days where I would ask to go work from my hotel just because I needed to be in the dark and I just needed to be by myself because I had no clue what was going on with my body. And of course at the time I didn't know what was going on, and so I was just like, I'm really sick. And the senior would make it seem like I would go to the hotel and not do any work. When I was doing work, I always submitted my stuff, turned my stuff in. There was stuff that I didn't even know that I was assigned to do. And then whenever I would ask like, hey, what else is there to do? It was like crickets. It was like, oh no, everything is doing good. Like you're doing great on your areas. And like there was stuff that I didn't understand when I asked for help. No, nothing. So then I got like a really bad review from that engagement, and I was like, oh, okay. I was a little blindsided by it, and I was like, well, if they had all these concerns, why didn't they just talk to me? I was there for like over a month. Why didn't they just talk to me, right, about it? Like why would they wait until my formal review to tell me these things? Because I could have like made like the changes, or we could have talked about things and put things in perspective. And then I had explained to I didn't want to tell anybody, but I ended up having to tell my career advisor what had really happened. And they were like, oh, I'm sorry, like, okay, I understand, it makes sense now, but maybe you should have told them. I was like, I didn't feel comfortable to have to share that kind of personal information with them. I just didn't, right? And it just kind of sucked that something that I couldn't control affected my review in that way. And so that's why I say, like, if you're struggling with something, talk to somebody. Like, it doesn't have to be your direct team, but talk to like HR or something. But yeah, so if you are feeling in a place of like your mental health is suffering, you're feeling heavy anxiety from having to go into work, like you don't like your team, like you just feel like you've done all you can do, but you just can't do it anymore, just put in your 2 weeks. If you can stay through the end of busy season, that will be better. Do it. But if not, just go. Just go. Don't make it a burden for yourself, because like I said, at the end of the day, you're replaceable. You can think you're doing everybody a favor, you're not being a quitter, and then they will just be like, sorry, you're fired. I had this happen to somebody that I know who worked with me, where they were literally blindsided and they got fired. So don't let that happen to yourself. I would say just take the time to regroup and rethink. And there's so many other opportunities outside of public accounting that you can go into with an accounting degree. Just remember that. The last thing I'm gonna do is just put on my Laura Mercier eyeliner and I'm done. So I hope I was able to help you guys out. If you are going through that, if you wanna quit, if you're like, do I even make it through busy season, or is it time for me to go? Email me, DM me, message me, and we can get like a talk if you guys want to talk it out. So all right guys, so this is what I'm wearing for the interview. Just have on this little outfit. So I just put my hair in a little something.